watching Enzo mess around with him.
Indomitable! Illari wins!
Well, it's funny you mention it. I've been doing a lot of looking into like their planning with like the character roster and how they're gonna release stuff. And they essentially said that they plan on doing 2 characters per season and then like 5 seasons a year. So we're looking at like a 2 month span on season and then like 2 characters should come out each season to kind of give you an idea of what the season will be based around.
I can kind of see it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm curious on why they split it up to be like damn near like 2 months, 2.5 months to a season with the character. Like, I could see the character. I could see 2 months per season. That sounds about right for enough time for a meta to kind of sink in, or for adaptations with patch notes to concretely seep in. But per season is also when you get a character. Considering how large the general IP is, it just feels like a cop out to focus the season over the character diversity.
I agree with you, but I think they're kind of up in arms right now with what they want to do because there's a lot of people who want to focus on the aesthetics and release more skins. But then there's also a lot of people who like they just want more characters to come out. They don't care about skins. They care about the mechanics of the game and overall on how the game works, right? Because like if you look on Twitter, they were talking about reworking how the game is. They made an announcement essentially saying that they the way that we're playing Twitch Kill right now is not how they plan on it being in the long run. So we're gonna see a huge change to the overall mechanics of the game.
That's another thing that kind of pisses me off in the background. Like, why they waited until after the first big thing to just be like, okay, now that you guys kind of figured out the game faster than we thought, we're just going to change up the game.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that they even thought to do that.
Like, again, that just feels just stupid. Like, I can agree with minor changes to a sandbox. That's understandable. That's a given after it. Like every big thing, when you see all the characters or the most played characters, and you kind of get to see who's running your meta in real time. But
Yeah,
to change the whole sandbox around, it just does too much to affect base retention for the product. And it's already in a struggle bus situation right now, trying to bounce back, where this could affect the longevity of that retention. So I'm just not entirely
sure.
sure that them trying to do that, or at the very least revealing that so soon that you're trying to do that, was the correct choice to do. I appreciate the transparency, but I feel like that particular revelation this soon is too much transparency.
Hmm. I agree with you. I think it's kind of transparent and kind of blatant that they're doing that. But at the end of the day, this is their kind of their first swing at a fighting game. So I'm kind of giving them their leeway to kind of just figure things out. You know, like they've got so much more expectations on the FGC as a whole and on the game as a whole than I think in like they're competing with numbers like Tekken and Street Fighter looking at it just right.
Right.
So with us just naturally not being as invested, we're not meeting that goal, so they're not as invested, right? Like let's say when they first released the game and we did have a major with like 4,000, 5,000, they would probably we probably have Akali and Senna right now. And it's not to say that we're not trying hard enough. It's to say that the numbers that they're looking for and the numbers that we're getting them. So they're still kind of just swinging the bat,
Yeah,
trying to be like, should we do this? Should we do that? You know.
the resources didn't align correctly with what they set out to do versus the quota for what they expected to do versus the results. And then since this is your first fighting game, now you have to change the vision of the manpower to help meet that mandate or this new change in goalpost that you created.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's literally exactly what's going on. Like they made a very long, like they made a goalpost very far from what's actually viable. And instead of sitting down and moving the goalposts a little bit back to see where things are going, they're just like, nah, we're gonna cut 80 people off of our board and give them different spots on the job, and it's it's obvious that they're still trying to figure things out. It's not all bad, it's not horrible, but it's not the best, you know?
Right. And so all they can do is at the very least be transparent about that while they're still figuring it out. So everything is going to be continually touch and go.
Hell, I don't even know if they want to do the touch and go because it's like they told us about Akali and Senna a month ago, and they've showed us some of their moves and how they're gonna work, but they still haven't given us a date in their release. So it's probably just like they're really taking it slow, you know, like one step at a time.
Right. Which means that it tells me, because like what the reveal, according to what I have here, the reveal was February 13th when the main article came out about what's new and in talking about the what was it, the main thing here from Unconquerable and the other like parts of their team and their focal point right now. That was on February 13th. That was 13, 14. That was like 2.5 weeks ago when they made the announcement of the new champions. And then there hasn't been anything new about that. The newest things that have been going on that they're talking about is like the first another offline local that is like predominantly focusing 2xko that they're talking about and highlighting, which okay, that's cool. What they're hearing in the background that they're working on still is updating premises to rank in order to edge case that's affecting fair matches in ranked, or the screen tearing premise, and of course the sauce masters Yasuo and Ekko in order to
Dude,
deal
don't
with
get me
that.
started on Yasuo and Ekka.
So let's delve into Akali while we're here. I can't get the loading thing here to go for this thing here because of the prompt that they have here, but let's take a look into these things. So let's start with Akali. It's the ninja chick here. So where did she first come from in the lore in League of Legends? That can give me an idea on her place here in 2xko.
So, story this long. Akali is actually.
Yo, I'm still here.
I apologize. I was telling you, Akali's. I hope you heard everything I was saying.
No, that's why I said right when it cut out. That's why I wanted to catch you real quick in order to do an audio check because it's like it just like spanned out for like the last like 2 minutes, 19 seconds.
I apologize. Akali is like from Kimiko, right? She's from a very highly trained, very highly professional group of assassins. Zed, Shen, Kennen, and herself are all playable characters that are from that group. And Zed would probably be like the villain of the group, considering that he didn't agree with Shen getting his place as the successor of the group, which are all just a group of highly trained assassins attempting to keep balance in Ionia.
Okay.
Now, if Akali is influencing the season, it'll probably be a ninja based season where we see a bunch of ninja skins. Should be really cool. But if it's not Akali, then I guess we'll just discuss what it will be with Senna later down the road. But yeah, Akali is a highly trained assassin. She has very, very cool moves. Very, very cool at like agility based moves that kind of just like completely change the direction of the game. And I feel like with her being here, she's definitely going to give Ekko and Yasuo some run for their money if she's given the respect that I think she deserves in terms of her potential.
Okay.
Because we're talking like trained by some of the best, bro. Like her mom and dad were both highly trained assassins in the Shadow Fist order. And then what makes it even worse is her mom single-handedly stopped Zed in exchange for her own life when Zed tried to come over there and kill everyone in the clan because he didn't want Shen to get his spot.
Mm,
So Akali, yeah, Akali's family is very strong. Akali looks like her family is very strong.
okay. Let's see. Assassin's Mark, Twilight. I just hear from what I'm reading here about breaking away from the Kinshu. So disillusioned by the Order's passivity during Ayana's suffering, Akali abandoned her title and struck out alone. As the rogue assassin, she vowed to protect her homeland by any means necessary, or one kill at a time. This departure defines her narrative arc, which was a lone protector torn between tradition and independence. And then she
Yeah.
maintains complex relationships with Shin and Kennen, of former allies, as well as rivals of Jin
So the
and
reason
Zed.
why they're former allies is because when Zed did what he did and Akali lost his mom, kind of broke off from the group because it was just like, well, I'm gonna sacrifice herself for this, but I didn't really agree with the decision or what was going on. So I'm just gonna go and do my own thing to keep balancing out. I'm not really gonna stay here with you guys.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Zed did a lot when he came over. He
Okay.
did quite a number.
Next assessment and going into the lore from there. Since she comes off as a good ninja based character, do you feel like she would retain mobility tools like multi-dashing, or she has like a movement redesigned for tag premises?
I feel like she'll probably be one of those characters that a lot of people will solely focus on when they learn them, and that's just because of how agile she naturally is in League, right? Like if you take a character like Ekko or a character like Yasuo, they're both junglers. They're both very mobile in their game. So when they come over here, they're running to both sides, doing double dashes, cross ups, teleports. It's in tandem with what they do in the game. And Akali is no different. So she's gonna be very mobile. I'm willing to bet that she'll probably have two different forms of mobility that she can kind of just play around with alongside a normal air dash. But that's just speculation. We'll have to see. But I think she will be very mobile.
Okay. That's what we're looking at here. I'm looking at I'm looking at her League of Legends site in order to get an idea on like her kit and abilities that she has there, and then I think about how they translate to the main kit that we're going to see in the fighting game sense. I was hoping to bring up the video if it could load on like what it looks like on the main Twitter, because that brief like 10-15 seconds gives you like a lot of what that you can work that you can get an idea from in looking at that.
Oh yeah, that video definitely showed like at least one movement mobility item that was like not just an air dash. Like she was like dashing around with her swords, cutting you in the air, moving left and right. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Next question. How risky do you feel that she's going to be compared to like other fast characters like Ekko?
Now, here's the here's the kicker, right? Ekko is a very risky character, right? It's a controversial take in some people's eyes. But those eyes don't have the knowledge to understand where he can be punished, right? Like you take his time winder in the air. If I avoid it or if my assist gets hit by it, I can just run up and hit him if they don't have an assist, right? And
Right.
like if they do double slash with their 5S2, like they just do raw S2, I can parry it, the first or the second hit, right? So it's like as the levels progress, Ekko becomes very risky because he has to do things that are punishable to then punish his opponent by mixing it up at the right time. You see? So it's like if I'm fighting someone who doesn't know what they're doing, Ekko seems like he can't be punished at all. But if I'm fighting at the highest level, Ekko can be punished, but it's difficult, right? And I think Akali is going to be very similar in that retrospect. I'm willing to bet this year might even be like Yasuo, where like yeah, you know the matchup and you're very familiar with what to do against him, but you're not gonna hit him a lot. Like, Yasuo is just naturally that safe and that evasive with what he does that to find yourself actually hitting him, you're gonna have to be very lucky, or that Yasuo is gonna have to be pretty mediocre.
You got to put in some work in order to try and deal with her neutral and to pin her down.
You know what I'm saying? Because like think about it like this, right? She's a ninja with mobility. She's a jungler. Following that logic, if she's anything like Ekko or Yasuo, which I think she will be, she is going to be a menace. I'm talking she's going to be moving around like nobody's business. And even if it is punishable, the fact that it can be canceled into something else is going to deter a lot of people from going for the punishes in a lot of situations, if that makes sense.
Makes a little bit of sense.
Like, Gogeta Blue would be a good example. Like, I know we're not talking about Dragon Ball, but like, or even Azrael, right, from Blaze Blue Central Fiction. Like, what these characters have in common, they have moves and records that are unsafe, but they can do so much during, before, and after that you're probably not gonna go for that punish unless this guy is just doing the same thing over and over and over again, or you just don't care, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like I think she will be one of those characters that are like overwhelmingly just mobile, putting a lot of 50-50s out, going on both of the sides, freestyle goon. I'm talking like all the freestyle kids are gonna love her, in my opinion. I think she's gonna be great.
Okay. I think she could definitely be a good catering to the freestyle outline, and then just have like a whole lot of combo creativity that comes with her.
Yes, sir.
Next question. Do you feel Akali is meant to be like a high skill execution based character?
I don't feel like Twig KO is meant to be a high skill execution game. However, despite that, I feel like there are going to be people who take her to that level with just what they do and how they do it, like B&Bs and box strings, where it's like, yeah, no, this is the highest level of Kali you'll ever see, you know? So, like, I don't think she will demand it, but just like Super Moon and Darius, just because Darius.
As you were saying?
So, yeah, I was saying, I believe it's going to be like people who have high levels with her, but I don't think it's going to be mandatory. Like, she's going to be a simple character that can be played simplistically, but at the same token, it's going to be people who do things that are just above the top, like above the average player, that the average player won't even try to do.
Okay. So it'll be like a journey
I
trying to optimize her in different ways and then just seeing what different variations of a high level Akali will look like. But it doesn't have to be, but there could be layers to her optimizing.
kind of like Warwick, right? Like when you fight a Warwick player, yeah, there's a bunch of Warwicks doing the same combo. Yeah, there's a bunch of Warwicks doing the same setups. But eventually you run into one of those Warwick players that's doing some godforsaken setup combo that you've never seen in your life. And now you're wondering just what you got yourself into. You know, like I think Akali's gonna be similar in that nature.
Okay. Next question. How vulnerable do you feel like her momentum or mobility could be to like anti-air or defensive mechanics?
I don't think the defensive mechanics in 2XKO are like exceptionally overwhelming. Besides people who are really good at parrying, but that's like them. That's not the game, you know. So it's like I speculate that she's gonna be very safe. I speculate that she's not gonna have too much things like she's not gonna take too many risks with her gameplay because of how mobile she is, right? Like you're gonna go for that parry thinking like, oh yeah, I can just parry when she does. It's gonna cancel it, and now she's behind you. You know, and it's like, boom, you lost half health. So I think she's gonna be pretty okay against the defensive mechanics. She's not gonna be worried.
Okay. Next question. What era of Akali do you think that this version is going to be based off of?
I think it's gonna be her Ninja Rogue Akali. I think we're gonna get the Akali that is fresh from the dojo, is trying to figure some things out. I don't think we're gonna get like long after she left Akali. I don't think we're gonna get anything crazy. And if we do, it's probably just gonna be like a skin. But I could be wrong because we got Arcane Ekko, and this Arcane Ekko is insane. Like he's doing stuff that's like, yes, Ekko does it, but damn, he's taking it a step further. So we might get a different time line of Akali that's not even present yet.
Okay. And then in looking at Akali, the next person I want to take a look at is Senna here. It's
My goat, my baby. I
a
love
very
Senna.
interesting character in her own right to take a look at. So for her, I'd also like to know like what is the background here for this girl, for Senna?
So Senna was a guardian of light who fought the Dark Order and a lot of the underworld legends like Thresh. Right, her job was essentially to protect the light and to fight these beings as they always threaten light. They wanted to extinguish all light, and with her around, can't be having that happen. Right. Well, Thresh is kind of broken, and unfortunately, he does kill Senna. He kills Senna. You heard me right. She's dead. But in killing her, she ends up learning how to fuse with the darkness and is able to resurrect herself. She is reborn, fused with the darkness and the light, and she actually doesn't get corrupted by her fused darkness either. She can still protect the light despite having the power of the darkness.
Huh. So she's like she's like a Twilight type of character. She's a character that embraces the twilight of the light and darkness core.
She essentially took the lemons that she was given and made lemonade. I don't think she really likes the darkness that she has. Neither does she accept it, really. But she's willing to use it as a tool, as a means to an end. If that makes sense. Like, ultimately, she knows that when she died to Thrash, there was not much she could do. So when she fused with the darkness to reborn herself, she did it as a last-ditch effort, knowing that she was one of the pinnacles of the Order of Light.
Oh, okay. She was born on an island near Demacia. She has a curse drawing the black mist of the Shadow Isles. So she's a long-range marksmanship with supportive utility. Her passive absolution gathers mist to increase attack power and range. Piercing darkness heals allies and damages foes. Dawning Shadow provides global shields and damage. Her hybrid design established her as the game's first support marksman. Huh.
Yeah,
So she's like a
just like
combative variation of Anna in Overwatch, if this is accurately going.
yep, you could call her that, or you can say she's Apollo from Smite 2. She is a
Oh, I didn't think
ADC
about
that can
that.
support.
So okay, so this is some pretty interesting like buffs that she gives as a support thing, but can also still kind of hold her own. That's starting to shed
Yeah.
a bit of light in terms of like what her team's synergy template could look like.
So I think she's going to be similar in the regard of, you know how you see a lot of Jinx players supporting their team by being just like the staple that can just keep everything together and keep everything going with really good assists and really good continuations. I think
Yeah.
she's going to be doing something similar to that.
So something like in That makes sense. Something in the way of like having excellent to stable or consistent neutral control while
Okay,
not
now she's
being
gonna
on the
have
field.
neutral skips. Yeah, she's gonna have neutral skips. I believe she's gonna have a neutral skip. I think they're gonna try to deal with Ekko also by making the next couple of characters that come out, if not just as good, better.
Which that's one way to nip the meta in the bud is to introduce another element into that cog.
Yep, I think that's what they're gonna do.
Now, if they want to take a
I
note
could.
from it, like Demon Slayer, for instance, that game when they introduce like their DLC characters are checkmates to each other, so that way one doesn't fully run the game without getting checkmated by another character. So
Yep.
if that's the case, I could see that happening. Where okay, she could be, I guess, an Ekko brain, an Ekko or Yasuo answer, but still have a sense of balance with like what she brings with her kit individually and then what she's doing as an assist.
I think she's gonna have that work thing where she has to build up her second form, but when she has her second form, she's just overwhelmingly powerful. But I think she's also gonna be like a momentum based character like Jinx, where like it gets the momentum, keeps the momentum, just helps the team keep it, right? So
Right.
it's like if I'm correct, and if this is how things happen, we also have a chance at an Arturian character. And I'm not sure how familiar you are with MOBAs, but Arturian characters have multiple moves of like the same slot. And the moves change based on their mode or stance that they're in, right? So in most MOBAs, you have 4 moves and an ultimate. With Arturian characters, you have 8 moves. Or you can have 4 moves and 2 ultimates. Or you can have 6 moves and no ultimate. So it's
Hmm.
like with her here, there's a potential. I'm not sure, but there is a potential that we could have a character with 2 different S1s, 2 different S2s, 2 different down S1. You see what I'm saying?
That would definitely increase viability and make her like a very strong situational based. That would make her very expansive in her utility.
And it wouldn't be like Warwick where it's just an enhanced move. No, it would be a completely different move because light and darkness are nothing alike.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That way you have a light based S1, S2, you have a dark based S1, S2.
Yeah, she's gonna
Okay.
be great, dude. I have high hopes for both Senna and Akali, man. I'm sure you can tell.
Absolutely. And hey, I'm more than optimistic about this because it's new characters for the roster and it's new elements into the ecosystem for 2SKO that it's needed since launch. So I'm always 100% and I'm always on board for new
Man,
characters.
who are you telling, bro? We've needed. I had a friend. He was complaining. He said Riot is a multi-million-dollar company, and he's correct to say this, but he believes personally that they should have invested a little bit more. Maybe drop 15 to 20 characters instead of just like 10
I
with
think
the Warwick
15 would have been
edition.
fine. I think 15 honestly
Yeah,
would have
like
been fine.
they could afford to drop 15 characters. Like,
They could
and
have.
it's not here to bash them because what's done is done. But it's like if they really want the returns and the investment that they're looking for, you've
Introduce
got to
the
be willing
variety
to.
at the door.
Yeah, you got to be willing to get the people in. Like you gave us a free game and we appreciated it, but you can't treat it like a free piece of scrap and then expect for thousands of people to be like, yeah, that's just
Exactly.
not gonna happen.
Like there has to be characters that fill out different needs because like the roster here when it came in was just borderline polarizing because you got like two or three big bodies. You have the one neutral skippy character. You have the one little rodent zoner. You have the Russian weave nationist basically being your geese in the game.
Right?
And then you got Yasuo, okay. I got reach and I got stance play, so there's an execute so that your first and your only at that point, I think, execution based character. Where okay, and then on top of that, out of those 9-ish, yeah, because season 0 was when War. Season 0 was when
This
War
is
began,
zero. Where it came out, yeah.
and
It
then
came out on the PC.
yeah, yeah, and then 1 when it actually quote unquote started. That's how we ended up with Caitlyn.
Yep.
So that's
Caitlyn
12.
was started season 1.
So when we
So
got by the
yeah, my
time we got
fault.
there,
12.
yeah, so 12 now. Which okay, if this was 12 at base roster, I would kind of be okay. I would still say it would need to be more, but I wouldn't be as anal
I
about
would
it.
take it, right? I take it, because
But the
then
fact that it
now we
dropped, it's going into season 0 with 9 characters, and then we get to 10 even. That was the part that continued to piss me off. I don't care what anybody says. That shit pissed me off.
yeah, it was pretty mediocre. I won't lie.
Because I was already pissed off at the fact that there was the crossplay that was supposed to be given for launch took them 4.5 extra months to execute. I was already pissed off with that, and then this just added in the background of it. Which okay,
Right, the hump that broke the camel's back.
yeah. But the key thing in getting back to what we were talking about mainly is just having a well-rounded roster. That way, it introduces different types of characters, the people, not characters, the heroes, in terms of like different play styles that offer and can accommodate the different ways people think and the different ways that people want to plan out their moves or plan out making teams. Because if you just have like well, it was half a roster of big bodies, damn near, and then
Basically,
the other half was just okay knickknacks here and there, then everybody's team for the most part is going to be a variety, including a big body.
it's funny you mentioned that. We did a diagram, me and my friends, of like all the different roles in the game. There is only one mage in 2XPL right now. Senna will be the second mage.
So who's the first?
Ari.
Wait, the kitsune is count as a mage.
Everything that you see leaving her body is magic.
Oh, oh, you see, chat. Hell, I learned something.
Yeah, she's the only mage in the game, dude. Yasuo's a jungler, Ekko's a jungler, Warwick is a jungler, Vi is a top laner, Brown's a top laner, Darius is a top laner, Illari's a top laner. I think Timu's also a jungler.
Hmm.
And what's it called? Who am I forgetting? Oh, Blitzcrank, top laner. Caitlyn's an ADC. Jinx is an ADC. And yeah, that's about it. We don't really have any. We have 3 jungles, 2 ADCs. I guess 3 if you want to count Timu, because Timu can also play ADC. And then like 5 top laners and a mage.
Damn. So yeah. So if she is a mage classification, then she would be the second one.
hmm And we know she's a mage because she has the pulsar cannon that works purely off of magic. It doesn't shoot normal ammunition.
Okay.
That big cannon you see Senna wielding is a magical cannon that only she can shoot out of. Like if someone took the cannon and tried to shoot her with it, they would need her magical. Like it need to be as strong as she is magically.
Kind of makes sense because when I first saw her, and that's another thing that goes to my next question with her when we get there, was like when I first saw her weapon with this thing, I don't know if it's a sword or a gun or a rail gun. The first thing that came to mind was Illari from Overwatch,
Mm,
and how like
kinda.
it's aligned with her powers, and only she can wield it in order to channel. It's like a catalyst in order to channel her powers directly through it, like a medium.
Kind of like a conduit.
Yes, yeah, yeah, more accurate, yeah, a conduit basically.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a perfect. That's definitely what Senna is. That is what the cannon is for her.
So it's like a relic cannon.
hmm
So my next question is, how do you think that canon's going to translate into normals or specials?
I'm sure we're gonna get a projectile. That's just like, come on now. I'm the thinking we might get an overhead with the cannon and a sweep, because everybody seems to have like a really nice overhead and a really nice sweep. I could see a teleport where she like in her dark form, she shoots the cannon and then teleports to where the projectile ends up. So I could definitely see that. And maybe some explosions. Like maybe she could shoot an explosion that could extend her combos. She has a lot of potential in that aspect.
Okay.
Yeah, she is very strong in that aspect.
Let's see. Next question. Um, do you feel like she's going to have screen control with her supers or like beam style based moves to her kit?
Yes, I think she's gonna have a lot of screen control. Like she's gonna shoot lasers. She's gonna have air laser, ground laser. She might even have an anti-air laser.
Okay. Anti-air like oh wait, the Guilty Gear chick has something like that. I can't think of her name. Kai's daughter.
Oh, Kai's daughter,
Yeah.
Dizzy.
No, that's his wife. No, the girl, the LGBT chick that has a rail gun that's just like a big ass extra button for her.
Railgun is an extra button.
Trying to think,
So you talking about the newer character on the bike?
yeah, because it's her weapon and it's her bike.
Yeah, I can't think of her name, but I know you're talking
Yeah,
character, like the bike character on Guilty Gear.
yeah, because unlike her father and her brother, where they ride the lightning, she just becomes the lightning.
Which is pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. I think Senna will get something like that.
Okay. Next question, and trying to go into like design philosophy here. So I can also understand that her inclusion was meant to
Rodimus, your
diversify.
voice is going crazy. Rodimus.
Hey,
Rodimus, your voice is going.
wait, it's going crazy. Wait, can you
Yeah,
hear
your
me?
voice is like, oh
Uh,
my god.
wait, can you hear me? Hang on. Are you able to hear me? Hang on. Let me leave the call and then join back in. Hang on. 1 second. Okay, how about now? Worse? Nah.
Yeah, you sound better now.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
You sound
All
like a
right.
bunch of numbers a second ago.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So it might be a charging thing. Okay, but the next question I was going to ask was going into all right. I know her inclusion was meant to diversify archetypes or the attempt thereof. Why add a marksman support hybrid this early in the roster?
Um, why? That's a good question. Um, I don't know I don't have an answer for that one. But if I had to sit down and think, I would say that it's because they just want to add a variety to the potential. Like Kaylin kind of showed a lot of variety of what she could do with her set play and her zoning, right? Because she can still rush in and do setups and 50-50s and what have you. And for a while, a lot of people considered her mediocre until, like, high level players like DFO and other people performed with her. So I think it's just to show some potential in the zoners, right? Because you have the zoners like Tiwu, who's really good at set play, and you have the zoners like Jinx, who has set play, but they're more better at like chaotic zoning. So now they're trying to give you a zoner that can do both and actually excel at both without feeling like a
You have to
pseudo
pick out
rushdown
one.
character. Right, because Caitlin's a pseudo rushdown, right? Like, she has an air dash, she has a projectile tossing reset, she has a slide, she has all of these things. And it's like, none of them really scream zoner. They scream pseudo rushdown. So I think they're trying to fix that with Senna. Like, if you don't want to just sit and do set play all day with Timu, if you don't want to just be a chaotic zoner with Jinx, and you want to sit down and rush people down with Caitlyn, you can play Senna and do some cool set play and still have a little bit of chaos and mix it up, you know? Because it gets a little boring having to pick one style. I'm sure, people who play someone like Zato 1 or, Peacock, you know, they can agree that it's nice to have multiple approaches with your playstyle.
I can
So I
agree.
think that's what she's going to deliver.
Let me see. The next was going into the broader roster based questions in terms of like what they're trying to fill. So, what gap in the roster do you think that Akali and Senna are filling?
Kali and Senna, like I said earlier, it's funny, I mentioned it when we first started this. I think they are trying to combat the concept of Yasuo and Ekko being so strong with future characters, right? And
Right,
if you take a second and you glance at Akali and Senna's 15 seconds of glory when they got announced, they looked extremely strong. It looked like they were not pulling any punches when it came to making these two characters.
right.
So I think they're trying to power creep Ekko and they're trying to power creep Yasuo, and they're hoping that the community can come to terms with that as more and more characters come out. Because it's kind of like Burdock, right? Like Burdock used to be broken, everyone played him, everyone loved him. But then as more characters came out, you didn't really see a lot of people playing Burdock. Like you had Dismantle X went CEO in 2018, but after that, all the Burdock players really kind of chilled out.
Yeah,
They went to greater things. So I think they're trying to approach it like that, and I think that's the role that Akali and Senna are coming with. It was like they already nerfed Ekko and they already nerfed Yasuo multiple times. Any more nerfs at this point is like, they don't know. They're scared that any more tampering could ruin them and make them unplayable, and then like everyone who doesn't play them is happy, but what about the people who play them?
yeah. Like that's the
You
hard
know,
part
so
about balancing that. Like a director is never going to get right all the time. There's very few times where a game can have like the perfect amount of balancing or the perfect amount of nerfs to give a character where you got it just right. That's a very rare
yeah,
scenario.
very rare. And I think that if they do make Senna and Akali stronger than Yasuo and Echo by nature, they will like that. They will appease the community in doing that. Because it's like we don't want to see Echo Yasuo everywhere. Like it's not that we don't want to ever see them. We want them to be playable, but when they're 80% of what you see in a tournament, it makes
Well,
the tournament a little boring.
right.
So I think that's the role that they're gonna fill. And then remember what I told you earlier. There's no mages in the game. So Senna, like I said before, is gonna be a little ray of light on the people who like the mages of League of Legends.
Yeah.
Maybe your favorite mage will come out. There's hope.
Here's hoping. I'm just thinking we got a handful of rushdowns. We got a couple of brawlers. We got the grappler questionable on their viability. We got the one zoner in the game, like a full
Now we
blown
got like
zoner.
three zoners. Timu, Jinx, Caitlyn.
Caitlyn can do Caitlyn can do it. Like in terms of like their game plan, they can do zoning, but their whole game plan isn't to zone you the whole time. That's mainly Teemos. Jinx
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
Jinx and Caitlyn's can do it as a byproduct of their set play.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Cheeks is like a set play character, and then Caitlyn, like I said earlier, is like a pseudo rushdown. So they're not like zoners, but they are ADCs in the game.
Yeah.
So I try to give them their respect in that zoning regards. Like, if you can shoot people in League of Legends, you're probably pretty good at shooting people here.
Yeah.
But
Next
yeah,
question.
that is the role. My
Oh,
fault.
oh no, 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 you're good. No, you're good. In terms of so with Senna and Akali, next question. Were they chosen based on popularity, gameplay need, or lore synergy?
I don't think any of those things. I think he was just randomly chosen. I'm gonna be honest with you, because if you look at their ties, they don't have any ties with anyone in the cast right now. Akali's Akali's sworn enemy is Zed. She's allies with Shen and Kennen, and that's about it. She doesn't know anyone else. So Akali doesn't know anyone in the cast. And then I'm not sure who Senna's allies are, but I know she hates Thresh, obviously, because he kills her. Um, but yeah, they, from my knowledge, they don't know anyone in the cast. So it definitely wouldn't be a lore based thing. And I remember them saying that they were tired of adding characters from Arcane. So I guess they kind of just took the two coolest characters they could find, not in Arcane, and was like, yeah, they'll do for now.
I'm liable to agree with that because there's no background that ties anybody relevant to the roster, relevant to the new people incoming, and they
At
haven't been
all.
seen outside the League of Legends media. So I
Nope.
actually really agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, I've been thinking about that one for a little while. I'm like, how does Akali and Senna tie into this? They don't. They just rolled the dice and landed on Senna and Akali, and I'm here for it.
Next question
Shoot.
is I was going to say if they hint at future thematic seasons, but you did kind of touch upon that somewhat in terms of like Akali's advent could
I did
signal.
not touch it on Senna though. The light and darkness season would go insane. I'm talking like everybody's glowing. Everybody has this cool like light and dark aura that they can choose between, like a light skin and a dark skin. And it would probably be like in a bundle. It'd be cool as hell, but expensive as hell. I'm sure everyone would love it. I would love it.
I wouldn't mind seeing a light and darkness season just to like kind of add to it, and would kind of take off in adding more visual diversity and like more skins or more oomph or and dynamic to the energy of a new season and a theme that goes with it. Because it's just kind of like stationary right now in terms of like introducing what this Bakersfield, whatever new place is that came with Caitlyn. It's kind of it's a good map, but it didn't really do anything for like making a theme for her season.
No, it didn't.
So I think in order to get people in or to help with that base retention, I don't see why having a theme with the new characters or picking either or splitting it 50-50 wouldn't do numbers for the inclusion factor or retention factor for 2XKO's community.
Oh, it would do a huge number on the retention factor. I think a lot of people would pay more attention if Ekko and Yasuo was in every top eight for like three players, 4 players.
Yeah. Next question. Which of those two characters or either do you feel was harder to translate from MOBA to fighter?
Senna. I feel like there's a lot of arguments. Like with Akali, you just got a ninja, right? Like, how difficult is it to make a cool looking ninja with cool rushdown moves? Not to disrespect Akali fans, right? Like, she's obviously a complex ninja. She has some unique things that not every ninja's out here doing. I'm not saying that. But like at the end of the day, she rushes you down, she kills you, life goes on, right? Now let's translate that same logic with Senna. How on earth? There's like a million ways we can apply the whole light and darkness canon thing to a character. And to make matters worse, This character is transformed. It's not a normal character. So it's like I'm sure they were debating hard,
So it could
trying
be
to
an
figure
instant
out,
pivot.
yeah, right, should we install her? Should we give her this? How should we do it? What should we do? Would this be broken? Is it too broken? We want it to be Ekko and Yasuo, but we don't want it to be the next Ekko and Yasuo, you know? So it's like, I'm sure there was a lot of debates with Senna.
And last question.
Sure.
Between Senna and Akali, how do you feel that this is going to change the way neutral is played in 2XKO?
At the highest level, this changes everything, right? Because the highest level players are always going to be trying to get the new, most optimal punish. And with new characters comes a new learning curve. You know, some people are just going to learn it faster than others. Some people are going to learn the parrying faster than others. All of that, right? But at the mid level, like if you're just playing the game, playing rank, you don't really care. It's not going to change too much. But we'll have to wait and see. You know, maybe they'll get something that's so strong that it forces everyone to, change. But I don't see that happening yet. I see it being moreover strong enough to enforce respect, not change though. Like, cause think about it, Braum is the only character in the game that literally makes you have to play different, right?
Yeah,
Like he has a shield where you literally have no choice but to either grab this guy through it or disengage. But outside of that, there's not really too many mechanics in the game that's like, oh my god, I have to change. I have to completely change how I play, bro. Like, I can't jump, I can't move, I can't hit him, I can't. Those are pretty overwhelming things, and they shouldn't be in the game anyways, right?
right.
So I don't think they'll get that. I hope they don't get anything like that. Just for the sake of them not getting nerfed to oblivion or becoming characters that, became the very thing they were meant to destroy.
In hindsight, on my closing argument, while I am definitely happy to see what these new characters add to the mix of the sandbox, I'm curious on what the toolkits are going to be. I'm hopeful for how known kit, their known legacy kit is transferred from MOBA to fighters and to see how they are. They already all have their fans. Every legend has their own fan base. So I'm already well aware that these characters coming out will already come very loved and welcomed in the community,
Of
barring
course.
the love and the hate both. I know people are saying, okay, you pick these characters over this character and da 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 da. But don't
Where's
worry about it.
Nunu and Willem?
Yep. Like I'm looking on the main post now, and there's people that are just like curious on why you picked da 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 do over what no set or no Victor or
Bro, no, dear bro. Like, we know, bro. It's okay.
yep. And there's a couple others here, but anyway, that doesn't matter. The key thing is that eventually they will all get into the game sooner or later. But the thing that keeps surprising me is that these characters so far, this is now 3 for 3, were the characters I predicted that feel like the most marketable and market friendly characters to a fighting game from a MOBA game did not strike the iron. And I'm just fascinated. Like these weren't the initial picks
Well,
that I thought they would be coming in. I'm not saddened at all. I'm actually surprised. I'm actually glad that I was surprised.
I will say that Riot loves to throw curveballs at people. You know, especially when they're figuring things out themselves, right? They're probably throwing curveballs at each other right now over the move list.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I expect that to be a common thing. You know, they may have given us Akali and Senna this time, but they might give us like Doctor Mundo and TZ.
Or
Like,
something else totally out of the thing. Like hell, we could probably get like Atrox or Tharn or Vayne or what's that fencing chick?
yeah,
That's kind of like oh
Katarina. My bad, Katrina.
yeah, Katrina. So who knows? Like
But yeah, who knows what's coming, man? Only the devs know. We are all but consumers, honestly. We've got to sit and wait.
that's it. sit and wait, let the roster fill out, see what their next move is going to be, because these are all DLC picks coming in, so it's all a matter of, I guess, either a fan favorite question mark or the underdog in the market question mark or whoever it is that has had love or hasn't had love in League of Legends question mark. There's a lot of variables that I still want to slowly unravel with each new revelation for characters that they reveal for this game as the game's lifespan continues to enrich the fighting game community.
That's gonna be interesting because I don't think I think it's gonna be a little while before we get a dev team that has their hands on the reins and can actually articulate why they're doing what they're doing. It is not to disrespect them, but the game's new, and it's obvious that like they're not 100% sure how they want things to go.
Right.
So with that all
They're
being
still
said,
figuring it out while they're doing it.
exactly. So
So this is like the productive end of fucking around and finding out on a daily basis, but you're still playing it safe question mark at the same time.
kinda, but they're kinda doing it in a more unapologetic way. Like they'll make the announcements and they'll make videos, but they're doing their thing. Like they do what they want to do. They don't really take the criticism with the community too harsh.
Which I like that. At least they can understand in the transparency and you being transparent with the community. The community will always be expected to do likewise because it's the FGC.
That's fair.
Like if you screw up something, you'll know about it within 24, 48 hours. Just pay attention to the feed. It'll be out there.
Yeah, definitely be out there. You know, the public, they don't really let stuff like that go.
Yep. Because if you're just now seeing it as a dev, I guarantee you there's a mini algorithm of it an hour or 2 hours before you even thought about the thought.
Mini algorithm, angry Reddit posts, Reddit server dedicated to talking crap about it.
Yep, you name it, a person's been rage baited about it.
Right? Someone's probably been rage baited on stream about it.
Hmm. That's why we're trying to get
But
Yasuo tapped right now,
at
and
least,
Ekko, trying to get those guys hit. That way they understand how to be like everybody else.
at least they don't have like a yummy situation going where like they don't. They're like, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with our character. You guys are bugging. Because in League, that happened, and oh my lord, that character stayed broken for like 5, 7 seasons, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it was horrifying. No character should have all that power, but they gave it to a cat,
What the hell? A cat?
a literal cat.
Bro.
It was so bad they had to change the mechanics of AFK, but they're not doing that here. Obviously, they don't. They don't want to go down that same road.
It's good for them. It's trying to stop the horse before it gets out the barn, technically another time.
Yeah, again, it's already left once season 0. Ekko and Yasuo had like 100% pick rate online. Everyone pocket Ekko Yasuo.
Exactly. And I bet you even after they get nerfed, people will still keep them in the back pocket because it's an effective character. Why would you not? You
Yeah,
have a
it's
mixy
so good.
character and you have an all-rounder based character that can kind of do everything you want to do in and out of neutral, and he's almost damn near playing another game.
Yeah, that is true.
Yo, but I thank you for taking the time here tonight, this morning, in order to sit and talk about the new characters, and we get to see how the landscape for 2XKO just sits and unfolds for the FGC.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it all plays out, man. It's promising, but it's also a little bit nerve wracking.
Yeah, it's like it's a balancing act for trying to do this right after coming off of something really good and then something really bad, not that soon after, and then something kind of sort of good. It's a weird like emotional tightrope trying to give the company its space, but still understand that there's a lot in the balance every move they make.
Yeah, they gotta they gotta understand that one. Not us, bro. We know how much is at risk. We know how picky the FGC can be with their games.
That's it.
So hopefully Riot takes a memo
All right, but chat.
But no, bro, I'm happy. I'm always happy to do this with you, bro. I'm hoping in the future, we can do more questionnaires about the other future characters that come out.
Absolutely, because I still got to try and find my character at some point or another. Because all 12/13, 14 question mark. I don't know yet. The 12 guaranteed. There's nothing that really interests me. So eventually, there's a character that comes out that probably will stand out to me, and then that's probably going to be the reason why I start to main 2xKO.
That would be nice. Characters you can like really resonate with.
Yeah. All right, chat. But that'll do us for the episode here. I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Leave your thoughts and comments or concerns down below for what you think is the next step that's going to happen for 2xKO via the balance patch or the new characters or the devs team's transparency of the next thing that they talk about, or what you would like to see that could be in your best interest or in the game's best interest as it continues to unravel for the season. You guys take care out there, and as always, till all are one.